What's up guys, Tamrakshan here. Major redesign to the iPhone happened with the iPhone 10, and from that year, which was back in 2017 to this date, well, the iPhone design has more or less remained the same. And this phone, even now which is in late 2021, is still a very premium phone. Now the notch might look dated close to Android phones, but this is the iPhone thing and everyone does get used to it over time. And here a key thing to highlight about this design is the excellent quality. The stainless steel frame and the glass sandwich is even now giving a very costly vibe, and with some of the decently used iPhone 10s I have seen, well, they've aged in a very neat manner. So from a design and build quality perspective, well, the iPhone 10 is still an excellent phone. Now before jumping more into whether this phone is a worthy option as of now, well, a key thing to note is that you can't buy a brand new iPhone 10 anymore and you'll have to settle with a used or a refurbished one. And for the pricing, well, in my area, it's usually somewhere between the 26,000 to 28,000 Indian rupees range, depending on the storage, and with most of those units, the battery health was in the 85 to 88% range. And this pricing based on conversion should somewhere be in the 320 USD to 350 USD range. So this pricing is actually not bad, and after using the iPhone 10 right now, well, based on some of the key factors, I really like this phone and I do prefer it over most of the phones in this segment. And it's all because of the overall polished experience I got from the iPhone 10. Well, I've already mentioned about the design and the build quality, and the other thing to highlight is that the iPhone 10 is a perfect sized phone. I feel it's a better size than the mini sized and the regular sized iPhone, and here since the sides are curved, the in-hand feel is just excellent. It's a bit slippery, but given the fact that the dimension of the phone is pretty manageable, it does cover up that issue. And also, by the way, the iPhone 10 has IP67 rating, which is something that is rare in phones selling in this price range. So for an aging used phone, the iPhone 10 is without any doubt holding its mark in terms of the design and the build quality. Now that's a great thing, but then a factor that will be considered more with older devices is the performance and the user experience. And here, since this is an iPhone, well, you don't have to worry much about the performance factor. The processor powering the iPhone 10 is Apple's A11 Bionic chip, which based on real-world usage is still a powerful processor. Majority of the time, things are very smooth and lag-free, and that's a big plus for a device which is not a new one. And even now, if you want to play graphic-heavy games, they do work without hiccups. And that's a key thing to highlight, but then the device which I was testing did get a bit too hot while doing intense stuff. So that does mean the processor is working a bit too hard in those scenarios. Now here another thing to notice that the iPhone 10 is in line for the next major software update, and probably this phone will get software update for maybe 2 to 3 years. So that's a big advantage in terms of the security side and also based on bringing a refresher look. But then based on new features, well, most of the features will be missing in future updates, but still being in line for a long-term software update is always great. Now here the RAM available in the iPhone 10 is just 3 GB, but for iOS that's not at all a limited number, and hence you don't have to worry much about RAM management. So from all this, well, based on the performance and user experience, the iPhone 10 is still a solid phone. And I can assure that the user experience from the iPhone 10 based on the performance is surely much better than some of the new phones that are selling in this segment. And like this, another impressive feature of this phone even now is this display. It's not a huge one, but still it's a good display size measuring 5.8 inches, and the best part of this display is the quality of it. This is an OLED panel and its resolution is 2436 by 1125, which gives a pixel density of 458 ppi, and here there is HDR support, True Tone support, and even 3D Touch is supported. Well, this display is very sharp and the colors are perfectly fine, and also the viewing angles is neat. Even now there isn't much to complain about this display, and also from a long-term perspective, there isn't any burn-in issues too. And here, even though there is this notch while viewing contents, the experience is immersive. And actually to back the display, the dual speakers are good because it does output adequately loud audio with decent quality. Now this speaker combo is not covering up for the missing headphone port, but still at moderately noisy environment in a small room, it does its job. And if you want to take the hearing experience to a private level, well then Bluetooth connectivity of the iPhone 10 is good because the Bluetooth version is 5. Well, here I did state that the notch doesn't act as an hindrance, and here you might know the reason why the notch is present, and it's because of Face ID. And to me, I do like face unlock method. But right now, if you don't have an Apple Watch, well, unlocking with a mask on is an issue. And also with these older devices, do check whether Face ID is functioning properly, because there are some devices which work really well and they might look clean, but their Face ID sensor won't be working. And this issue usually happens with older iPhones, so do keep an eye on that. Well, till now, things are staying strong for the iPhone 10, but with older devices, everything is not going to be perfect. and the areas where the iPhone 10 shows its age is with the camera and the battery. Now from these two, the camera part is still holding fine in favorable conditions, but when the situation becomes a bit challenging, then the iPhone 10 does struggle. There are two cameras on the back of the iPhone 10 and they both are 12 megapixel cameras, in which the main sensor is a wide camera with aperture f1.8 and it does have optical image stabilization, and the secondary camera is a telephoto one whose aperture is f2.4 and it also has optical image stabilization, and here you get 2x optical zoom. And as I stated, the photos taken with the main camera is neat looking with a true to life color profile, and the dynamic range is decent if the condition has some form of natural light available. And when that light is not available, well then the shots become a bit grainy, and when the lighting gets really bad, well then shots are totally unusable. And about the telephoto camera, it's only usable when there is plenty of light. But then an advantage we get because of this camera is the ability to take pretty neat portrait photos. Now based on my testing as of now, this phone's camera system's main strong point is video recording. You can record 4K video at 60 FPS, and I did record 1080p 60 FPS video, and the output quality even now is really impressive. This phone can still be used as a video camera phone because the video output is pretty stable and the colors are neat looking, and overall I like the videos this phone captures. And about the front camera, well it's a 7 megapixel f2.2 aperture one, and the selfies this camera captures are actually not bad. I mean, there is surely better options in this segment, but then the selfies from the iPhone 10 is actually usable, and here also the best part is the video recording. The max resolution supported is 1080p at 30 FPS, and here the output is decent enough so that casual vlogging can be done with this phone. So here about the whole camera situation, well as of now there are phones performing better than this in this segment based on camera, but still the iPhone 10 keeps up in certain scenarios, and also the video recording advantage is the key highlight. But then the area that has taken the biggest hit is the battery side. The iPhone 10's battery capacity is 2716 mAh, which is fairly decent for an iPhone, but with the iPhone 10, as I stated in the beginning, most of the units' battery health will be in the 85 to 88% range, and some will have even worse battery health, so the backup that you will be getting will totally depend on the battery health of the phone you're gonna get. And for me, with the unit I have, well I was getting a screen on time in the 3 to 3.5 hour range, and that's on the low side, and with this phone I always needed to charge it twice a day. Now this situation can be improved with the battery change, but that will cost extra over the cost of the phone, and hence this is a drawback side for the iPhone 10 in late 2021. But then about charging, well you get a 5-watt charger and lightning cable with the phone, but that's the slowest charging option, and this phone actually does support fast charging, and here even the very slow speed wireless charging is available if you're into that. Then about the earpiece, well it's a good quality one, and hence the calling experience is still excellent, but then here the number of SIMs that you can use is just one, and it must be a nano SIM. And about the Wi-Fi version, it's Wi-Fi 5, and here all sensors are present, and also since there is NFC, Apple Pay is supported. So I guess that's everything about the iPhone 10 in late 2021, and as of now from my experience of using the iPhone 10, well it's still a very premium phone, but if you plan to buy it, you need to think about your priorities. The battery shortcoming and also the camera weakness in dull lighting are the drawbacks, and if you have issues with that, well then I'll recommend to check other offerings in the segment. And right now a much more newer iPhone XR unit is available at a slightly higher price, and that phone does outperform the iPhone 10 in these two factors. But that said, the iPhone 10's strengths are actually unique for the segment, which is basically the premium quality of the phone, and to back that thing, an excellent quality display is present, and also the performance is good. And if your priorities are just these, well then for sure you will love the iPhone 10. That's all for this video guys, hope you liked it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and also please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because you won't miss our future contents, and it also does help our channel a lot. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.